Today on Investigate TV Plus, an eviction crisis prompts violence.
My brother should still be here. He should have not got killed doing his job.
Our investigation uncovers the growing dangers surrounding evictions and the urgent need for solutions that help keep people in their homes.
We're going to turn over every stone to find the resources needed to continue this initiative at some level.
Plus, we'll show you what you can do if you're struggling to pay rent.
Then, protecting kids from AI-powered predators.
The next thing you know, this person has the real identity of this kid. Probably know where they go to school.
How criminals can capitalize on parental pride to blackmail children.
And two hikers call it a miracle on a mountain.
It's a traumatic experience, but it's such a miraculous experience of healing on both ends.
How a chance encounter saved a life and forged an unexpected bond.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus. Housing is becoming increasingly expensive across the country, and for those struggling to pay their rent, that could mean eviction. I'm Lee Zurich.
And I'm Tisha Powell. It's a possibility millions of Americans face, and with the prospect of losing their home comes another threat: violence.
Investigative reporter Kristen Crowley explains how some evictions can turn deadly and what experts say can fix the rare but growing problem.
Dispatch requesting assistance.
It's February 29th, 2024.
Suspect is still in the residence.
The emergency
They have an officer down.
is dire.
We now have two officers down.
Police flood the front yard of a home just outside Kansas City, Missouri.
Two officers shot.
I need at least 4 ambulances.
The call brings emergency crews from across the region to help.
Be ready to take your patients. Be advised this is still an active scene. PD still taking fires.
But help is too late.
Giving you another live look. This is the beginning of this procession.
2 people died that day. Independence, Missouri officer Cody Allen.
I was like, why? Why?
And Carmen Mack's big brother, Drexel Mack.
This is not fair. This is not fair. My brother should still be here. He should have not got killed doing his job.
Drexel wasn't law enforcement. The job that got him killed was serving an eviction notice. The man being evicted, Larry Acree, is now charged in the double murder. Mack was a civil process server for years, tasked with serving papers like eviction notices for people who fell too far behind on payments. Work that isn't considered inherently dangerous. But Carmen says she constantly worried for his safety.
Was your brother ever scared?
Yeah, a lot. People are very crazy, and you come to take their stuff from them is how they feel. So they try to protect their belongings.
At that moment of eviction, everyone is tense. It can escalate very quickly.
And eviction expert Carl Gershenson says examples of violent evictions are popping up across the country.
Here's a notice to evict, okay?
What?
It's your notice put the knife down right now.
We found, quite a large number of these stories being reported each year, whether that be a tenant committing violence against a landlord violence on the tenant.
Gershenson is the director of Princeton University's Eviction Lab, a group that formed because he says no one was tracking the rate of evictions in the U.S. The number it determined is about 3.6 million a year.
What about violence with evictions? Is that being tracked?
No one is tracking the co-occurrence of violence in evictions.
Eviction Lab is trying to do that, but without a nationwide reporting system, it relies on news reports.
Deputies were serving a civil eviction.
And says the numbers may actually be higher. In 2022, it documented at least 38 deaths. By 2023, the number was 44. And that's not including other types of violence that people survived.
We had 2 women shot, one of them shot in the head.
Philadelphia City Council member Jamie Gauthier says over the course of 4 months, the city saw 3 eviction-related shootings. Everyone survived, but Gauthier says Philadelphia needed to take an unprecedented step.
To me, just completely unacceptable, and so much so that we needed to pause until we got things more in order.
Gautier wants to see even more change down the road and reduce evictions altogether. But nationwide, that's becoming a tall task.
We're seeing evictions reaching the exact same levels that they were before the pandemic in most cities, but in some places, evictions are higher than they've ever been.
That includes cities like Miami, Las Vegas, Houston, and Phoenix. But Gershenson says rural areas and small communities are also feeling the squeeze.
The rate of eviction just continues to rise as housing affordability becomes more of a crisis.
Jim McDonald with the United Way of Greater Kansas City says it's important to note a majority of evictions are not deadly or violent. But if evictions increase, so do the chances for more cases of violence. McDonald says the solution to that is having more resources to keep people in their homes. One policy is having great success in the Kansas City area, where a local ordinance gives tenants a right to an attorney when they're facing eviction. Those attorneys often negotiate deals or payment plans with the landlords.
And since that policy was enacted, the majority of households who had a lawyer by their side have been able to avoid evictions.
Some of those attorneys rely on federal emergency rental assistance, funding that came as a result of the pandemic. Funding that by the end of 2024 is expected to run out.
We're going to turn over every stone to find the resources needed to continue this initiative at some level.
Worst case scenario, this funding runs out and you don't find the replacement funding. What happens?
More families will be vulnerable and at risk of losing their housing.
Just weeks after Drexel was shot.
Live at 5, shots fired while a processor approached a house this afternoon.
Another Kansas City area eviction-related shooting.
It's just too much.
Carmen says she can't make sense of any violence, but she hopes change comes with evictions and safety becomes a priority, even if it's too late for her brother. But she'd rather not think about how he died.
He always had you cracking up, laughing.
She'd rather remember how he lived.
A helping hand, a shoulder to cry on, a shoulder to lean on. Very respectable, loving man. That's what he was. And still is in my heart today.
Evictions can be deadly in more ways than one. The Eviction Lab says people forced from their homes have higher mortality rates than those who stay put. That's in part because they're more likely to then lose their job and become homeless. The Eviction Lab also says the time in your life you're most likely to be evicted is between birth and 18, meaning children are feeling the brunt of this crisis. If you're struggling to pay rent, one resource is the United Way. You can call 211 and ask for help.
Still to come, friendships can transform a life. How a mother's plea leads to an unexpected outpouring of kindness.
This has just been one of his best years of his life.
But first, a danger in the digital age. Artificial intelligence is used to create explicit photos and blackmail children.
And at that point, the kid's often too embarrassed to do anything. So they pay whatever they're supposed to pay.
FBI agents explain why caving into criminals isn't the solution. And we examine the steps you can take to protect your family from online threats.
My whole world was taken away from me. He was my everything.
Time pretty much stopped.
A mother and father robbed of their only child.
We poured love into our son for 17 and a half years, and 200 messages in under 24 hours, they took his life.
Tim and Tamia Wood's son, James, took his own life after becoming a victim of financial sextortion. It's a frightening scenario. Predators aggressively target children online and manipulate them into sending explicit content. Then they threaten to expose the victims publicly unless they pay up. In James's case, the blackmailer asked for thousands of dollars, money James didn't have.
How evil do you have to be to go after kids, like kids who can't protect themselves?
This type of extortion is happening at alarming rates across the country. In 2023, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received more than 26,000 reports of financial sextortion. That's more than double 2022. But in this new era of artificial intelligence, a child does not have to send an explicit photo to become a victim.
We examine how social media plays a role and explain what parents can do to protect their children. A seemingly innocent post could make your child a target.
Bad actors that have these new tools in the toolbox to make our collective efforts much more difficult.
First, the FBI warns predators find kids through social media and the online games they play.
Whether it's a kid playing Madden or Roblox or Minecraft or what have you, it gives you the tools to allow it to be wide open so they can talk to anybody and be solicited for sextortion from some person from across the world.
Special Agent William Lee Hasty says the con artist gather identifiable information through what seems like small talk.
Next thing you know, this person has the real identity of this kid, probably know where they go to school.
Armed with the info, criminals will then find pictures of the child online and use AI to manipulate them into pornography. And if the victim doesn't pay up, the threats of sharing with friends and family begin.
And at that point, the kid's often too embarrassed to do anything. So they pay whatever they're supposed to pay.
Hasty says kids will often pay whatever they can scrape together in hopes of resolving the situation on their own. But he says you should never pay because predators may continue to blackmail you even after that first transaction.
There's been a lot of victims of this.
So how can you protect your kids? Duke professor Lee Tiedrich helps craft policies around the use of AI at the global level. Her warning to parents: anyone can take any picture online and do anything with it. She says the legal landscape at the federal level isn't coming close to what's needed to clamp down on the problem.
There are not a lot of laws on the books today that target sexually explicit deepfake material.
But in the absence of federal action, Tiedrich says states have to step up and create laws that target criminals using AI for extortion. She says perhaps the most direct solution comes to the front lines of how predators get the materials they work with, the original post.
When it comes to posting personal images about me or about family members, I don't do it.
But if you do post, Tiedrich recommends locking down profile privacy settings or only sharing images in direct messages or through text. And while hundreds of images are already circulating online, the FBI says it's working with private tech companies and AI software like facial recognition to track down predators.
Even though the subjects can use those kinds of photos for bad activities, we can also use them to help protect the children.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children recommends parents start conversations about online safety as early as possible.
Talk to them about ways an image can spread online and how many platforms allow direct messages, even if you aren't connected as friends. Parents should also be careful when using language like strangers, because when online gaming, children might consider the online user to be a friend. Instead, talk about healthy relationships that include boundaries and how to handle rejection.
The center says kids need to know they can trust you, so it's okay to be honest with them that even if you might get upset, your main goal as their parent is to protect and help them. A conversation Tamia Woods wished she could have had with her son.
I need our kids to talk to us. Like, no matter how humiliating, no matter how embarrassing you may think it is, like, I need you to talk. If you don't do it for anybody else, you gotta do it for James.
And there's always help. You can get free and confidential support from a professional for yourself or a loved one by calling 988. And if someone you know is being sextorted, block the profile and report it to the platform, but do not delete your account or messages with them. That could help the investigation. To learn more about what's being done to help protect children from sextortion, head to InvestigateTV.com and search Teens Targeted.
Still ahead, an offer to pay for a video game partner blossomed into lasting friendships.
I just enjoy hanging out with him, honestly.
How an unusual Facebook post helped change a man's life.
Plus, a bike ride turns into a fight for survival.
Given the outcome of this situation, it's truly unique and it's a miracle.
See the moment strangers stop to help a man having a heart attack on a hiking trail. When a heart stops, seconds matter.
And CPR can double or triple a person's odds of surviving cardiac arrest. More than 350,000 cardiac arrests occur outside the hospital, yet fewer than half of them receive immediate CPR from someone nearby.
Fortunately for an Arizona man, a nurse happened to be in the right place at the right time, and he says that she helped save his life.
Reporter Michaela Marshall explains how one man's brush with death inspired a lasting connection.
Have a great one.
Mark Bieran feels lucky to be alive.
You don't always get that third strike. This is already the second one.
He suffered his first heart attack in 2021 and another on March 10th. The second time, he started to feel pain in his chest while he was on a bike ride with his friend Stan. He blacked out on the Pima Canyon trailhead at South Mountain.
Started to walk up here and couldn't take anymore. Set the bike down, sit down here, and that's when they took over.
Come on, Mark. You can hang in there, buddy.
That's Desiree Lewis singing and teaching Stan CPR. She's a nurse at Banner Health who just happened to be starting her hike the same time Mark collapsed.
He wasn't breathing. He did not have a pulse. His color was purple, blue.
She jumped into action alongside other hikers before paramedics with the Guadalupe Fire Department arrived.
He started agonal breathing and moaning, but he doesn't have a pulse.
Desiree surprised Mark in the hospital the next day.
Obviously very emotional.
The fact that Mark was alive and awake, but also had suffered no brain injury and no problems with his level of functioning is just an absolute miracle.
The pair have since become unlikely friends and even went out to lunch with Mark's wife.
It's a traumatic experience, but it's such a miraculous experience of healing on both ends. It was healing for Mark, and for a way, and myself, it was healing for me.
It's something no one there that day will ever forget.
We do respond to a lot of medical calls. We do respond to a lot of cardiac arrests, but given the outcome of this situation, it's truly unique and it's a miracle.
I'll still get chills thinking about it because it's just, I think it was more than just the right person, right place, right time, as much as it was supposed to happen for all of us.
Met a lot of really great people, a lot of angels.
So why sing the Bee Gees hit song Stayin' Alive? It's the ideal tempo for chest compressions during CPR, which is between 100 to 120 beats per minute. And the title makes it easy to remember in emergencies.
And it's so important that you think about that and be able to step into action quickly because you can save a life.
And remain calm. You know, it's obviously a very stressful situation, but they were all, you saw the video there, they were all calm there, and what a miraculous story.
It worked, it paid off.
Yes, it did. Up next, friendships unfold thanks to a Facebook post.
We have a good time every time I come over and joke around, just laugh.
How simply showing up can change a life.
A room full of video games, but no friends to play them with. A scene no parent wants for their kid, especially for an outgoing guy like Christian Bowers.
He goes to Walmart and he'll invite half of Walmart to come to our house. They don't want to tell him no, which I totally understand. But what they don't understand is the very next day he is constantly asking, oh, are they coming today? Is it today? Can you contact them?
In February 2023, Christian's mom decided to put a plea on social media, offering to pay someone to be his friend. The response was more than she ever expected.
Reporter Caroline Hecker shares their story that proves sometimes the most valuable things in life can't be bought.
Let's do it.
A room once filled with loneliness.
How about you watch my game?
Is now overflowing with friendship.
Cool.
We first met Christian Bowers after his mom Donna made this post on Facebook asking for a friend for Christian. She wrote, 2 days a month for 2 hours. I'll pay you to be my son's friend. He's 24 and has Down syndrome and doesn't have any friends his age. The pay is $80 for 2 hours. Donna got way more than she bargained for. Christian's calendar was booked out for months, no one accepting a dime.
There's kind people out there still, even though all you see is the negative. This has just been one of his best years of his life.
Now, a year after that viral post, Christian still gets monthly visits from 2 of his newfound buddies.
Yeah.
That includes Dan Moss, whose visits to Christian's house haven't waned, long after he responded to Donna's post.
I just enjoy hanging out with him, honestly. We have a good time every time I come over and joke around, just laugh, and just have a good time.
Hi, Tyler.
Today, Dan brought his friend Tyler to the hangout. And for Christian, the more, the merrier.
My friends like me so much, and me like them so much. I have friends because they like me.
That list of friends is a long one.
I still have a whole phone numbers and names of guys waiting in case these guys can't make it.
The new friendships have made Christian more social, his mom says, and a man who knows what he wants.
I like making new friends, getting a job, getting a new house, marry my girlfriend.
Donna's Facebook post went worldwide and she received messages from England, Australia, and Ireland. They even got a handwritten note from Kenya. And that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm Tisha Pell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, a mother delivers on the side of the highway with no maternity care for miles.
I'm trying to help, hoping someone shows up to make sure everything's going to be okay.
How the shuttering of labor and delivery units nationwide has put families at risk.